If you love visualization, you are going to love this technique. It doesn't matter the circumstances, it doesn't matter the logic of the situation. When it is glued in your mind like that, nothing can stop it from playing out. That's just how manifestation works. Hello, my loves. Welcome back to my channel. It's Gigi. This channel is mostly about self-development and the law of assumption. Be sure to stick around to the end of this video if you want to learn the best technique that I have learned this year, I have used to manifest at the speed of light. I'm talking manifesting things in less than 10 days, 3 days sometimes. This has been a game changer in 2023. I have personally benefited so much from it, and I just cannot wait to tell you all about it. This video is about using the state akin to sleep, and we're going to get into the details. So many of you already know that the law of assumption is the basic principle of what you assume to be true as a core belief will prove true in your reality. And this was popularized by Neville Goddard back in the 40s. I love to read and listen to Neville Goddard because I resonate with his style and I really like his technique of focusing on visualization. The state akin to sleep is a visualization technique. I'm going to say SATS as an abbreviation for state akin to sleep for simplicity's sake. You can use SATS every single night to completely supercharge your manifestation. And there are 2 steps. Number 1, you have to make sure you are in a drowsy state, right on the verge of falling asleep. That's where the name of this technique comes from. And this is actually scientifically proven to be a state where your mind, your subconscious, is extremely impressionable, called a hypnagogic state. And you can Google this if you want the science behind it. But essentially, it's this twilight period, this in-between worlds where you're right on the verge of consciousness. And you can use this period of time to really make an impression and leave a mark. And why would you not want to leave a positive mark instead of listening to something that's not beneficial, like falling asleep to negative news? That would not be beneficial at all when you're in that hypnagogic state. So we are going to use this period of time to our advantage and be sure that we are intentional with this time, which leads me to the second step, which is extremely simple. And that is creating a scene, an imaginary scene in your head that implies that your wish has been fulfilled, that your manifestation has been achieved, that you did it. Congratulations. It could literally be you imagining your parents or your best friend or whoever congratulating you and you saying, "Thank you, I'm so glad this happened." Or it could be you holding hands with someone that you want to be in a relationship with and walking along the beach together or enjoying a date together. It could be 2 to 3 simple things, no more than 15 seconds total, that you can continually loop visually in your mind. Let's say you guys cooking dinner together, holding hands, walking around town, running errands, just being a cute couple. That could be your SATS visual that you repeat consistently every single night for a period of time. Let's say start with 15 days. 15 days is my go-to time period because I feel like you can stick to anything for a little more than 2 weeks. If you are a content creator, you can use this to help yourself grow on different social media accounts as well. It is incredible how just having a 5 to 10 second loop of a visual that you are consistent with every single night before you go to bed of you saying, "Wow, I went viral and now I have 20,000 followers on whatever social media account or 100,000 followers," whatever the case may be. You saying that to yourself and truly visualizing it right before bed when you're in that impressionable state will basically guarantee that that becomes your reality. in a given period of time. Some people have manifested using SATS in a period of days. I'm talking less than 10 days. And that is incredible. Rita Kaminsky is an example of someone who, in real time, showed her success with SATS, how she grew to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube by being consistent with using SATS. That's just the tip of the iceberg, though. You can use this for anything. You can use this for appearance change. Imagine a visual of you looking in the mirror and just being so confident. Wow, I finally have my dream body. And that doesn't mean you're going to start taking drastic actions in your day-to-day life to achieve that. The beauty of SATS is that it's impressing your subconscious so that you naturally in your reality are taking inspired action that then allows that to unfold. You have to really remember that if it's done in your 4D, it has to play out in your 3D. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It has to happen. That's just how manifestation works. All right, my loves, before I wrap this up, this success story is literally my favorite success story of all time. I first heard it thanks to Kimberly from Manifesting with Kimberly. Go subscribe to her channel right now. I'm always shouting out other creators in the Law of Assumption community because they're truly the best creators. I'm just going to say it. And Kim pointed out this success story that Neville Goddard shared, this woman named Mrs. J.E., who back in, I don't know, it was like the 40s or something, had gone on a blind date with a man whom she truly loved and she knew even then wanted to be in a relationship with, wanted to marry. And then, unfortunately, for whatever reason, ended up that either she moved or he moved or something happened and she didn't have his contact information. And I mean, back then they didn't have cell phones or the internet, so it wasn't like she could just look him up or track him down. And so she decided she was going to use SATS alongside revision. So she put both techniques together, which I will link my revision video above if you want to learn about revision, which is such a great technique. And revision is super successful when you use it in conjunction with SATS. But basically, Mrs. J.E., this woman, decided, I am going to imagine every single night that I am married to this man. And she had an imaginary ring on her finger that she was imagining. And she played a visual of her falling asleep as a married woman every single night for 30 days and decided we're going to end up falling in love and being married. This is going to happen. And it ended up happening. You have to Google this story. I'm pretty sure it's on Google. You can find this full story, but it's just so adorable. They ended up meeting up, falling in love, and it was something like 6 months later, they were engaged. Back before you had any way to get back in touch with someone, there was a chain of events that played out to make sure that they could find each other again. Like that man found her because he also felt the same way. It goes to show you how it doesn't matter the circumstances. It doesn't matter the logic of the situation. Something will happen because when it is glued in your mind like that, nothing can stop it from playing out. Using SATS is a very powerful technique. It is so simple. So there are typically two common objections I hear people tell me about SATS, and I want to get to the bottom of these two right now. Number one, I hear people say that they get too hyped up imagining this amazing thing that they want right before they go to bed. They're excited about it. They want to get the money. They want to get the relationship. They want the promotion. Whatever it is that they're imagining gets them energized, and therefore they find themselves more alert. They're not in that hypnagogic state anymore. They're not in that impressionable state, and they end up having a harder time falling asleep and therefore don't feel like it's working. They feel like they're getting less sleep because they're just so focused on this thing and the hyper focus is keeping them awake. My recommendation, if that is you, which I fully understand because I am someone who gets very enthusiastic, my recommendation would be to have a cup of tea or do what works for you to calm down, take a nice bath, or listen to some music, put on a nice essential oil diffuser, and try to just have a nighttime routine. Because this technique is designed to be used when you're in a really sleepy state. And if it is not helping you being in that sleepy state, try to do some things that will ease you into that state as much as you can. Maybe it's a guided meditation that then ends off with this visual scene, but that would be my recommendation is focus on calming yourself, avoid caffeine is what I do. Just follow your instincts and listen to your body and of course consult whatever healthcare provider you have if you really have a hard time with insomnia. But this technique will work best for you if you can really get into that drowsy, groggy state. The second thing people say about SATS is, "Oh, I can't visualize. I feel like my visualization is not very good and it's not very clear." Your visual does not need to be crystal clear at all. It can be hazy, it can be fuzzy, but it is the feeling that it is giving you that is the most important. And it doesn't have to be this visceral, potent feeling either, but you just want to fall asleep with the general feeling and the general acceptance and calmness of knowing that that visual provides, implying that it's true, that it's done, whatever your manifestation is. That is the goal with this technique. You do not have to stress that your visual is not like in HD TV, perfect clarity. That's not what you're going for. You're not going for perfection. If you actually have blindness of the mind, which I think is called aphantasia, and you actually can't visualize at all, and you think in strings of thoughts, like sentences, then use affirmations. I also sometimes don't feel like visualizing, and I think affirmations are easier, but you can have an inner conversation slash affirmation session where you're repeating the same thing or the same conversation that implies that your manifestation is accomplished over and over again. And that will also seal the deal. That will do the trick and accomplish what you're trying to accomplish, which is having the types of thoughts that imply that what you want is already 100% a fact. So that is pretty much it for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed learning about SATS. If you already were familiar with it, let me know how you use SATS and what you like about it in the comments below and what you have manifested with it. And I would love to do a SATS challenge at some point. I think that would be really fun. So keep an eye out for that. Also, if you want to work with me or follow me on any other social media account, that information will be in the description below. I'm so glad that you joined me for this video. I just want to drive home that SATS is so powerful, especially because the reason why we do it during that period of time, that twilight period where we're in between consciousness and being asleep, is because we don't have resistance to what we're trying to manifest at that time. We're not consciously able to come up with all the logical reasons and limiting beliefs that we have for why something cannot be true. So it's really allowing our imagination to come to fruition. And that's what this is all about. So I'm really glad that you joined me for this. I can't wait to hear how you enjoy using SATS yourself. And I'll see you next time. Bye.